Hi and welcome to CBN4's Primetime News for today. I'm your presenter, Alian Christopher. Here's a look at the headlines for today. The Minister for Agriculture says all necessary measures were taken to facilitate the transfer of 12 birds out of Dominica to Germany. Antigua and Barbuda Prime Minister sworn in for a second term. And on the international scene, Donald Trump's top Russia lawyer, John Dowd, resigns. Stay tuned for these and other stories when CBN4's Primetime News return. We'll be right back.
L'année signe tout partout. Attention si vous êtes homme et bien femme. Visitez place santé pour examiner corps. Ça c'est un nid pour yo ouais si l'année pièce moun au lion qui ni maladie TB et bien maladie sexuelle. En compagnie moun qui ni maladie HIV pe ni TB aussi. Savent qui l'année guérison pour TB. Ou ça vivre en bonne santé même si ou ni maladie HIV. Parlez by docteur. Prends responsabilité ou. Aidez du bout de sime maladie TB et HIV. Ou agir tout le monde pour examiner corps yo.
If you're HIV positive or have an STI, having unprotected sex with multiple partners puts them in grave danger. You'll expose every partner and their present and future partners to HIV or another STI. Use a condom every time you have sex. You can live a productive life even if diagnosed with HIV. Remember, early detection is key to your survival. Be responsible, protect yourself and others. Help stop the spread of HIV and other STIs.
And welcome back. The Minister for Agriculture, Johnson Drago, has stated that the government of Dominica has taken a policy decision to bring plants into the island, particularly fruit trees. Drago said the Ministry of Agriculture is in the process of putting the necessary mechanisms in place to ensure that some certified facilities around the world will be visited by officials of the ministry.
And we are aware that the recertification of our nurseries and so on will take some time, and therefore we can't afford to wait until the facilities are ready. So some plants will be imported into the island. I want the forestry division to be very much involved in this, and we want to encourage people to plant back the fruit trees in their yards. The carambolas, oranges, mangoes, and they took a pounding, and therefore they must be replanted. The ministry will assist persons in getting plants. We may have to sell it very cheap, but for sure we have to go on a massive fruit tree planting program, because we can't afford to get our people too much entrenched in these carbonated beverages. They don't have a choice now, but they will only stop it if they can get back the apricot and the passion fruit and everything growing back in the backyards and so on. But
Drago noted that the Ministry of Agriculture and the Forestry Division has an important role to play in bringing fruit trees into the island, and therefore hopes for a rapid response.
At a stage where we can provide plants for people, a lot of plants for people, and I want us to encourage them to plant them. I'm looking forward to the forestry re-embarking on the programs, going to the schools. Now is the time to educate our children again on the importance of trees. Trust me, if a child gets a plant and he or she plants that plant, they're going to take care of it, you know. They can't wait in the morning to go and water it before they go to school in the morning and so on. So we're going to get the children at the school involved in that process, in helping us rebuild our forests. And as the speakers before me said, our forest is important to our tourism.
And 6 months following the devastating effects of Hurricane Maria, Dominica has regained full connectivity to international and regional markets with regular flights offered by regional carriers including Liat, Seaborne Airlines, Win Air, Air Sunshine, Coastal Express Carrier, and most recently Inter-Caribbean Airways. A press release from the Discover Dominica Authority confirmed that as of March 22nd, Inter-Caribbean Airways will operate non-stop scheduled services between Dominica, St. Lucia, and Tortola. The release also indicated that the Douglas Charles Airport, located at Melville Hall, and the Canfield Airport have welcomed passengers since October 2017. It added that air access has been expanded with night landing available at Douglas Charles Airport until 8 p.m. for public flights and until 10 p.m. for special arrangements. L'Express des Îles fast ferry service was operational within a few weeks after Hurricane Maria and provides service between Dominica, Guadeloupe, Martinique, and St. Lucia. The press statement also stated that L'Express des Îles has partnered with Air Caraïbes to offer simultaneous airline and ferry bookings with connections to L'Express des Îles destination. And Jacqueline Burnett, the visual and performing arts teacher at the Convent Preparatory School, says that her school will be hosting a visual performing arts network concert, a Millage, which involves all the different sections of the performing arts. She said the performing arts began last year, right after the passage of Hurricane Maria, following a call to assist children who suffered and were traumatized by the hurricane.
With two other teachers, Mrs. Bocasio and Miss Sevre, devised an art program, and it started with a weekly theme. For each week we had themes that could help them to grow and to heal. The first week was release. It was a drama and dance idea to help the children to release any negative energy. And the second week was color expression. Using a color code, they had to express themselves using color. Abstract or realism, it didn't matter. I just wanted them to express themselves, their emotion using color. The third week was rising, expression using collage, crumpling paper, tearing paper, that helped them to release all negative energies, to crush it, to help to create an artwork of putting it together, a collage. Week 4 was progress. Where do we go from now? So I got them to do an origami of their face, of how they are feeling. And week 5 was building together, and so we got the children to create out of recycled plastic.
Burnett said the art exhibition was originally carried for the end of the first term, but due to difficulties beyond their control, the exhibition had to be pushed back to March 21st. The children had various displays on show with labels depicting the different weeks after Hurricane Maria. At the exhibition, a corner was created specifically for father, mother, and child bonding. And stay tuned, we'll be back with more news right after the break.
There are signs everywhere. Pay attention whether you're male or female. Visit your health center to get screened. It's a preliminary test to determine if you are exposed to the HIV virus, an STI, or tuberculosis. Some people who are HIV positive also have tuberculosis. But there's hope. Tuberculosis can be cured. And yes, you can live a full life with HIV. Talk to your doctor. Be responsible. Help stop the spread of TB, HIV. Encourage everyone to get tested.
Les moun qui ni TB estene et ben toussé, moun qui en bonne santé au liouin qui a respiré ces vermine là, moun qui pa ni bon tempérament, kon sa ki ni maladie HIV, alcool, ka fumé, ti mamay et grand moun bien sensible pour ces maladies ça là. Moun qui ka toussé ni pour prendre précaution les yo en parmi moun en place publique, couvert bouche ou le ka estene et toussé. Visitez docteur et ben place santé. fini tout traitement yo ba ou sa jwen guérison et puis maladie TB. En responsabilité ou aider du bout simer maladie TB et HIV, protéger corps et les autres.
Welcome back to CBN4's Primetime News Package. Director of Telecoms and ICT Advisor Bennett Thomas has said that the devastating impacts of Hurricane Maria on the socio-economic developments of Dominica has left us with many lessons to learn from and has opened even greater opportunities and avenues for both expanding and enhancing the telecommunication infrastructure of Dominica. Bennett was addressing participants at an emergency telecommunication workshop here in Dominica at the Office of Disaster Management in Jimit. Representatives of international companies Facebook and Google, as well as from our premier regional organization for disaster management, CDEMA, together with all the disaster response personnel from Jamaica, Barbados, Antigua and Trinidad and Tobago, joined other counterparts in Dominica for a 3-day workshop on emergency telecommunications.
It has become glaringly obvious that telecommunications and the role of ICT in disaster mitigation must take center stage in the recovery efforts as we seek to rebuild Dominica better and stronger. In our quest to be the first climate resilient country in the world, every sector of the economy must think and act resilient, and the telecommunications is no exception. But it is critical to this vision.
Thomas said that telecommunication is critical to the vision of performing an analysis to determine the following.
Do we have the necessary telecommunications infrastructure to facilitate business continuity after Hurricane Maria? What type or types of telecommunication networks ought to have been in position to ensure business continuity? Did we have the necessary resources, whether human, material, financial, or institutional, together with the necessary technical expertise and competence locally to meet the challenges following any such disaster? In a digitally connected world where almost every service is dependent on some form of telecommunication or ICT-related platform or service, did we have the requisite telecommunication infrastructure to support such services? What type of emergency telecommunication network should we design to ensure communications with citizens before, during, and after any major disaster? These and other relevant questions need to be asked and answered as we look forward towards a resilient nation. It is without doubt that ICT and its related services have made us totally dependent on such technologies, and as such, we need to ensure that every effort is made to deploy a fully redundant, technically secure, and reliable broadband telecommunication infrastructure, which provides us with not only a safe and secure network to do business, but robustly reliable and resilient.
The Director of Telecoms further challenged the participants to assist in developing the people of Dominica in cloud technology, data analytics, satellite technology, e-education, and also by establishing centers of excellence. And speaking on the recent controversy where 12 parrots, 10 jackals, and 2 ciceros were taken out of the country to a center in Germany, Minister for Agriculture Johnson Drago said all of the necessary measures were taken to ensure that the necessary documents were signed. Drago further mentioned that the signing of the documents were not to only ensure that the birds left Dominica safely, but to also ensure that they are well received in a foreign nation. The Association for the Conservation of Threatened Parrots recently confirmed in a Facebook post that the transfer was in cooperation with all governments involved and all birds have legal documents.
For the best, there are best practices. St. Lucia has gotten birds into that facility and they've been breeding in captivity. St. Vincent as well from the region. The whole OECS is behind the efforts. Brazil has done it as well successfully, and I strongly believe we will also succeed in Dominica. And one of the fine days, all of our birds will be returned. Hopefully not just the 260 that was taken or sent, but more than the 260 and more than the 10 jackals that were sent, and all of the fears of Dominicans will be all right.
And also in the news, the Ministry of Education and Human Resource Development, in collaboration with the Israel Aid and UNICEF, will launch a disaster preparedness program for the country's schools at the Goodwill Parish Hall on March 26. The disaster risk management project aims to build a culture of natural disaster risk education within the Ministry of Education and Human Resource Development and within the education system, in order to minimize potential damages to schools caused by natural hazards by strengthening capacity, preparedness, response, and recovery. The student and community targeted program was developed by UNICEF and Israel Aid at the request of the Ministry of Education and Human Resource Development. Using student participatory processes, the program will train children in disaster risk re-education through a participatory hazard, vulnerability, and capacity assessment of their unique communities. The innovative program further aims to enhance community capacities by working with children on disaster risk education initiatives in their own communities, building on local knowledge and understanding of needs to create adaptive protocols. The program strives to execute a national drill, build schools emergency templates based on each community's specific areas of vulnerability, assemble disaster risk reduction guidelines for building back better, and to organize a contingency plan for the Ministry of Education and Human Resource Development. Principals, education officials, and partner representatives will participate. And that takes us to the end of today's Primetime News package. On behalf of the entire CBN4 team, I am Ali and Christopher saying thank you for watching, and do join us again next time.